of what is considered a wow impact.
You mentioned Disney. That's a great example. Thank you for bringing that up. That's one industry I forgot to mention. But here's the great thing. So you said three things, right? So number one, it's the small things. Do you know that at Disney World, all the trash is emptied from below? No one has ever seen emptying trash cans as they go down the streets of the magical kingdom. And that was on purpose because they knew, well, that's just not going to fit with the image or the brand, the experience that we want people to have. So little details like that are thought out to the nth degree. You're like, but we're not an amusement park. We don't have that kind of money. If you're coming up with reasons why you can't incrementally change, everybody has a brand, whether they know it or not. So the second thing I would say is you have a brand already. What is that? If you don't know, it would be best to bring in somebody that's never encountered your business, your website, your people, your customers, and have them, someone you trust, have them come in and say, tell me what you see. What's your first impression? Give us fresh eyes. I want to know what's our brand. Because oftentimes when you're in the business, it's very hard to see what your business looks like. So that second thing is Disney knew they had a brand. What was the brand? Magical. Well, you're not going to have magic if somebody's emptying trash right in front of the kid or right in front of the adults. Just the whole idea of that is no good. So it's the little details that go into your brand that end up being, and I would say the third one is this. You don't know what your brand is unless you ask. So often there's a disconnect. You think because you're publicizing this, you think because your imaging and your pictures and your text and your content is this, that that's what you are. But the disconnect is if you're not asking your team members, which they call voice of the employee or VOE, or your customers, VOC, voice of the customer, if you're not asking for their feedback, then you really don't know. And oftentimes there's a disconnect. And the bigger the gap, the more of a problem you don't realize you have. Get that free feedback from clients that love you, that have been with you forever. Ask them, ask your team members. They're on the front lines. They know. Ask them for their feedback. Once you get that feedback, here's the third part. Close the loop. So plenty of companies send out surveys. They ask people questions, but oftentimes it's only to measure how they're doing. They don't do anything with the information as far as communicating back. So here's what's going to blow your mind, the minds of your customers and your team. If you ask for their feedback and then they send you their feedback and then you say, thank you for your feedback. We're going to get back to you as we digest all the information that we've got. And then however long it takes, a couple of weeks, a month, then you go back to them and say, here's what we learned. Some of the best things, and especially if their idea was chosen, make sure they know that. Communicate back to them. Thank you for sharing that with us. We improved this, that, or the other, and it saved our clients and prospective clients. It enabled us to eliminate some issues we didn't even know we had. Thank you so much for doing that for us. Take it another step further, and I call it the red carpet treatment. If you have someone who is a key client, been with you forever, that you look at the revenue they contribute to your company, and they give you some feedback that's excellent, bring them in. If they've never been into your facility, if this is possible, if they're in your area, bring them in, have a tour with the senior management or the owner, show everything that you do, show where their idea was implemented and the improvements that it made, have lunch with them on the premises. I guarantee you that they will be blown away because nobody has ever done that for them. You're talking about a wow experience. Now you just elevated your brand with someone who already knows, likes, and trusts you. And after a little bit of time, after you give it a little bit of time, then follow back up with that person and say, do you know somebody else that's looking for our service or our product? Somebody would be open to that. You would be amazed how many people they know, probably not surprised, but by adding value to them first, by them helping you, you're giving them the thing that people enjoy the most is being able to give. People that are typically generous. And if they can find a way to give to a company that they like, now you've given a way for them to improve something that they love. You're going to have them not only loyal, but then they'll also help to grow your business with people that are similarly minded. So those are the three things I would say.